It's a wonderful afternoon morning in London, of course, that we are here with our new guest. And Chitra uh, is known to me for quite a few years. Um, we'll start with introducing the guest. Chitra is into yoga and she's been teaching my wife for many years. Um, Now, of course, she started her own brand of yoga, which is called Yogatainment, and which is an interesting expression because she mixes yoga and art. But we have not called her as a guest for any of these great things that she does. Her greatness lies in the fact that she's fairly shy and introverted, and it has taken ages to make her speak her mind on public fora. She's just about started and she's doing very wonderfully well on that account. But I have always liked her because she has this old sense of great and feminist way of looking at things, which is not post 70s thing in the sense of where we have these women being equal to men. She is equal, she's confident, but she is very shy. I wanted to actually check up whether shy and introverted are different words or are the same. So we will check in experience. Sujata is a very dear friend of mine. She is now residing in the UK since last 14 years. She's been a recruitment consultant for most of her working life, and she's also now training to be a counselor. Um, I have an advertising background. Both of you know a bit about this, but I've been a writer for over 25 years now. How do I know this? Because when the Babri Masjid fell, I was doing my advertising class. So 1993 is how I remember. Around 20, 22 years is how 27 years actually. So yeah, we start quickly on today's topic, which is a very unique topic thanks to the personality which Chitra has. Um, it is values in the context of people who are introverted. I do not know if they match, but our idea is to just open up the topic and see where the conversation goes. My first question to you, Chitra, um, is is being introverted and being shy the same thing as far as you're concerned?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for having me. And yeah, so directly coming to the question, shy and actually, I don't feel both are same because I would say introversion is more of selective. You're introvert in with maybe selective people in a selective surrounding, and maybe with others, some other people you might not be as much. So people might have a different view of you. Some might be seeing you as introvert, while someone might be seeing you as she's very friendly kind. So yeah. So about me, I've been having two people say I am friendly, but yes, they do have this view ki you don't share stuff easily. So I don't know whether what exactly they mean, but yeah. And
Sujata,
shy,
sorry.
um, so shy. No, I don't think I am shy, or I don't know. I don't know whether they are. I don't think they are the same. They're
Okay.
two different.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sujata, if I understand Chitra correctly, do you think she means shy are people who are generally conscious of not talking to public most of the time, and introverted is choosing certain topics to remain close to your heart? Um, can we have these as loose definitions since we none of us are referring to the dictionary meanings of these?
Yeah, I would imagine so because I think when one is essentially an introvert, you choose your boundaries, you choose your relationships and your friendships. It's a very, I don't know if it is a deliberate effort or it comes naturally, but there is only certain part of you that you want to share it with select people. And that, in my opinion, that doesn't entirely make you an introvert, because you are not introvert to that set of people. You are introvert to the outside set of people. But with those guys with whom you can open up or with whom you share what you want to share, you will come across as being normal. That's my take. In terms of being shy, I think it's you can be shy and introvert both. That's what I feel. It probably goes hand in hand as well. Uh, I personally feel one doesn't exist without another.
Okay. Um, okay, so if I were to pick up this point and ask you, Chitra, um,
Mhm.
if we just stick to instead of getting into the definition of shy and introvert, because then it will go off topic, we just stick to what she said right now. If we take it for granted that both are reasonably interchangeable with the demarcation that we've done, and stick
Mhm.
to introverted for right now, do we hold back things because of fear?
Uh, yeah, I think now that you mentioned fear, I had never thought of it that if if I'm holding back stuff, it would be because of fear. But now that you've said it, I think I can, that can be one. So I feel it is two things. One is trust. I can open up to people uh, whom I can trust, and trust as in blindly, which I can do on very few people. So yes, that is one. And secondly, yes, maybe if I'm not trusting, maybe I have some kind of a fear. Ki, you know, anything. Maybe the person will go about talking to someone else, or maybe I would be judged about what I'm thinking or saying. So yes, so
Okay.
that is why probably the introversion. So for me, it's the trust factor.
Okay. I think the counselor is making notes, so we are going to go deeper and deep this time around. But yeah, coming to trust, I will throw this at Sujata, but picking up the point that she just said, uh, to get a different perspective, lacking in trust, is it that we trust ourselves less or we trust the world less? I would want you to think, do we trust ourselves less in trying to be what, are we doing the judging ourselves even before the society has judged us with that particular secret or the particular aspect that we are not sharing with the world? Is it jumping to conclusions even before anything has happened? So where is the trust lacking? Within us, or is the world really not trustworthy? Sorry.
Who is the question for?
For you right now, to bring in
For
an
me right
aspect of
now.
how are you seeing it? If this demarcation is made, where does the trust factor fail? If it fails, I'm not saying it fails deliberately, but as subconsciously perhaps.
Uh, I'll probably answer that a bit differently, because there are a few things here. One is it depends what is the content that you want to trust or you don't want to trust somebody with. I think it starts there. And also, I think over a period of time with people and their journeys, if one is self sufficient, the need to trust others or share others also diminishes. So I have maybe put another spanner in the
Yes,
works here.
it is beautiful. It is beautiful. So, okay.
So the reason I'm saying this is it's based on my own experience. So from being a person who chronically overshared and trusted people with things, I have come to the other extreme of not feeling the need to tell anything to anyone, whatever that may be. But it's, I think that aspect for me has got nothing to do with trust. It's just that I feel I can I can manage the situation or whatever thing that's bothering me or going through my mind by myself. And sooner or later, I do get an answer to that. So that aspect of wanting to trust somebody to share something is diminishing where I am today.
Okay, so Chitra, there is a very tricky question coming up your way. She's opened a beautiful, beautiful new direction to this.
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
So, so now the question is it that she's become more in control of herself, or is it that she's taken the level of lack of trust to the point where she does not care anymore? Because she used a term when she started overdoing it, something like that. So if she overdid it, she's overcompensating right now. Would you think, although we are both now not the counselors here, but just as a thought, just as a thought, is it that we are trying to make up for the wrongs that we did ourselves? Is it the other end of what an introvert is?
That's for
Equally
me.
harmful, perhaps.
Yeah, so I don't know whether I'm not in the right position to kind of judge someone because
We aren't. We
she might
aren't.
be having so maybe like because she mentioned that she used to overly kind of trust people, and then from coming to a different extent it might be because of the experiences that one has had you know having some not very happy experiences of sharing stuff, and then you realize that I am better off by myself keeping things to myself. That could be one as I look at it, if it's totally the different side of a person. But so yes, that could be, or else yeah, very much emotionally in control, I would say, because my need to share or trust someone, and when I trust someone, I open up to them completely, sharing myself inside out. That is also because I have that need to, empty myself somewhere.
Okay.
So, and maybe gain reassurance at times or things like that. So probably when one is very high in emotional intelligence, or high in emotionally kind of stabilizing oneself, there might not be a need to kind of tell people stuff. So, you know,
Could be either, you're saying.
so yeah, it could be either. One is either you've had such experiences that you completely go off and keep things to yourself, or else you are in very much in emotionally you are secured that you don't really feel the need to go about sharing your
So
stuff.
I I want to just before you answer this, I know you have an answer. I just want to give you a prism through which, if you could answer this for us. The prism is the answer you're going to give. Does it come through coming to peace with your not sharing first, or is not sharing a consequence of your decision? So, for example, you are so much at peace because we are now trying to qualify what Chitra said is a person who's at peace with himself, a high level of emotional intelligence uh, with their state in life. They don't feel the need to share at all. So, which is fine, which is an organic growth into that mind space. The other is that you have realized that every time I have done this with ABC, they have they have not been up to it, or they have not lived up to my trust. And maybe so, to continue a bad example, ABC, so DEF are also not trustworthy anymore. It's better to stay quiet and figure out my solutions, which would also lead to some kind of wisdom. It's not to say it's one or the other, or is it a mix in your case? Sujata.
Sorry, I thought it was for me. As for her, sorry. I don't know really because I mean, just to continue with the earlier point that I made, and I think it touches upon your question as well. Uh, what I would probably say is the need to maybe trust people with your issues or whatever you're going through decreases because you start trusting yourself more. That need for a second opinion or validation ceases to exist over a period of time. And to quote Chitra, it's not about having unpleasant experience having trusted people with your stuff. I think you just start believing yourself more. So the need to validate externally decreases over a period of time is how I would.
So yeah, Chitra, would you want to ponder over what Sujata said right now and tell us
Correct.
where is this need to get some kind of validation coming from? Uh, if you were to study yourself, um,
So, maybe getting, I'm not sure. Actually, this is like, it's like a process which will continue for maybe few more days, digging into myself as
yeah,
to,
yeah,
but uh, maybe getting some kind of a reassurance that what you're doing is right, or maybe you're on the right track, or uh, maybe just the need to share what's inside me. And so I'm just trying to understand with the people that I share, what do I get after sharing.
yeah. That's a good place to
So
start.
maybe someone who listens completely, mm, without judging, just there to listen all the stories that I have to say, good, bad, everything. Maybe even the mm, mistakes that one has done. But if you tell it to others, they would be like, oh, you did this, oh. So someone who listens to everything and doesn't really go about
Judging.
judging you. So maybe that. So then you get some reassurance that yeah, you are a human and it's not that bad whatever you've done. So that could be one. Secondly is I feel everyone has this need to communicate and talk, but so yeah, you talk to certain people you're comfortable with, the others you're not sure whether they can understand your wavelength, so to say. And maybe sometimes I am not very accomplished to um, or maybe I would say while talking to someone um, whom I trust, I get more clarity about myself, probably, is what I feel. Because when I don't feel, say, accomplished with, say, for example, since I have a yoga background, if I am, you know, my day to day, what programs probably I could do or things like that. If I'm thinking by myself, after a point, I am stuck. But if I am talking to someone who's ready to listen and maybe have a conversation, uh, then ideas come up. So that is where, yeah. So that is one thing, is what I can, say about myself up
Yeah.
to now. But I think I'm going to think about this more.
Yeah, the idea is that I have a interesting take on this.
Mhm.
Um, I do not know where I come from. My study of myself mentally is not up to it yet in that sense. But I vibe well with people who are introverted, and uh, while I am quite gregarious in the way I present myself, thanks to the profession that I belong to, I learned a lot from my peers in the profession, and it helped. You couldn't sell your work internally or to others unless you showed excitement. I lost quite a few years doing what think is extraordinary stuff till date after 20 years also. But I never had to, I never wanted to go out, and you cannot be excited. You're creating. It's a very nascent and a very vulnerable phase uh, of you that you are sharing with the world. But in the industry that I belong to, there was a lot of cutthroat competition among creatives uh, who wanted who wanted to show they were very effervescent about the idea and the way they presented. So I actually worked a lot to reach where I did in terms of this personality that people take for granted. Um, One of the turning points in my life was I was part of a big agency where people were quite bad, as people also very uncouth, and they were very confident, and it helped their work sell. Um, when I quit and started my own work, my own agency, one of the things I took from there was, if people um, who are not the kind of person that I am, for want of a better term, I know that I'm honest about my work. I know I'm trying the best for my clients. I know this is what I want to do. Uh, why should I not be confident about it? Why should I not present my best to the world? Along with it, automatically, I have always gravitated towards friendships about with people who are what I used to be quite a lot. And I go out of my way. You will not believe this, and show sides of myself that literally scare the hell out of them. How can one have a conversation like this? Sheerly because of this one aspect. Because over a period, I realized that there's nobody who's going to come and do it for them. They will have to learn to come out with certain aspects. With all due respect to what both of you mentioned, there are certain aspects that need not be shared, which you know, I would go back to the Buddha because of something that you said. Sometimes you get better clarity on a subject. I think one of the wonderful points he has made is that a friend is one who means you well and gives you wise counsel, sometimes even advising you against doing something that you are hell bent on doing because you may not know it. So, but that's a different talk altogether about friendship. But yeah, it is why one should open up a bit and talk. Uh, so on now to pick it up and put it for discussion. Uh, would Sujata, with her wisdom and having reached a point of, we'll just continue the term emotional intelligence. I do not um, know whether it really means that. Again, the technical definition, but just for our conversation's sake, if has she reached there, or is it um, a provocative word? Is it cockiness on her part to um, to assume so? Because at some point, going back to old timers, we used to have men who never displayed emotions and they died of heart attacks. Um, and today we find a lot of women who are um, in good positions of power, who were supposed to be very open about their expression of emotion. They are not doing so as randomly as they did. So, would you want to mull over that and make any points? Do you think you need to revisit and relook at that point? Whether at some points do you break that norm and still go and discuss things with people, or is it cast in stone? No, now I'm comfortable. I do not want to do this anymore at all.
I I wouldn't say one does, I don't do it anymore at all. It has just become really selective over a period of time because, like Chitra said, you may speak to a friend who's willing to listen to you in a very non judgmental way. They may not be able to come up with any solution, but the fact that they have just listened to you, heard you out, makes you feel better about the situation or whatever it is. So I still do share things with my closest friends, uh, but they are by and large mostly professional bits, I would say. It's more about you know checking with a close friend if I should have a certain tagline for my new venture, or should I go after a certain client, what should be my approach, etc. And that is purely because the individual on the other side is more experienced, or we have a certain wavelength that matches. And more or less, not trying to sound have any element of cockiness here, more or less the answer that I get seems to be what I was veering towards in the first place before I went out and asked this individual what I should be doing. So I think it probably comes in time. I don't know how to explain that.
Okay, no, so we'll just stick to why not the personal things.
Yeah, so I don't feel the need. In fact, the question did arise to me earlier. So when Chitra said I speak to people or I speak to some friends, do we then selectively speak to our different friends on selective things and not necessarily share the same thing with three different people?
Okay, that's very interesting. Do you want to pause, Chitra? Would you want to, if you're sharing it, the same secret or same thought process with two different people,
Would you,
do you word it in a manner where both of them find it more palatable to their own taste?
uh,
Is that what
if
you
I
mean?
may add just one little thing, or if one issue is personal and the other issue is professional, so do you have two different people that you would approach?
Mhm. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
No? Yeah, okay.
Uh, so yes, um, for me, it's to I have close friends, but uh, yeah. So there are people with whom I can talk personal as well as professional stuff. There is no boundary as to uh, only this stuff can be, or I talk to them only to empty myself. For with them, it's personal, professional, A to Z, everything. It's like I can talk moon, stars, trees, anything with them.
Okay.
But with certain, it's only professional. I don't feel the need to really talk about myself or maybe what is bothering me with them. I am very much willing to listen to them and listen to their stories if they have to share. But I don't feel very comfortable talking about my personal stories with them. So then they are good friends. I can keep their secrets, but I can't talk about my secrets with them.
Okay. No, so we'll go to the question that I had asked you. If there are two people that you are friendly with and you're sharing the same
Mhm.
secret with both of them, um, would you just word it in a fashion so that you get a appropriate response from them the way you want, or are you genuinely honest about what you feel?
Uh, I think if there are two people with whom I can share the same secret, then I am. It's the same thing that I'm sharing. I'm not modifying anything to suit one person or the other.
Okay,
Maybe situation wise a little here and there, but the essence would not change.
wonderful. So maybe we've lost track of the introverted part of the interview. But no, I think it's a wonderful walk into the bylanes of our minds to figure out what is introvertedness exactly. So on a level of, uh, I have realized now I'm putting up a question because I do not have a question coming from any of you at this point. Um, when I sit down with different people and try to help them open up and become more confident versions of themselves, um, the reason is purely to give them something that I stumbled upon, uh, in terms of realizing, okay, there is this, I think, JFK quote: the only way for evil to succeed is for good people to sit and do nothing. I think on a daily basis, people like us who, even my clients, sometimes I tell them they are doing great work. But when they are asked, okay, why don't you put this out? They say, no, no, we don't want to talk about this aspect. Now the problem is people who are not doing great work are going all over and being cocky and being very confident and ruling the airwaves, if I were to use the term. And people who are genuinely questioning themselves, um, trying to walk the difficult path, hearing the small, still voice inside, trying to do the right things, even under grave provocation, and succeeding. They are actually going through a bad time, but they would rather stick to their version of things. Um, they don't talk about it. I'll give you a quick example. When I was into film production for a while, I realized there was no way of telling the truth and sticking to film production, at least in my case. Um, from the word go, you had to say paisa. There is no money in this project. If I shook hands with you on the project, the first thing I said, there is no money on the project. No matter what the project was, no matter how much money we had been told by the client, I could never tell you. And I had to squeeze the hell out of you. And I would judge you if you are deserving of this money. I would give you a little more later to make you feel good and get into the rhythm of things. I would make the experience as pleasant as possible, but I would not tell you the truth most times. And over a period, it started clashing with my personal values and my personal life journey. I realized I could not match both these things very well. Uh, I share this story with all my clients. I share this story with my friends. The idea is to tell them the challenge is going to be there. The entire values workshop, if there were a line defining it, is about the challenges. It's not about the accomplishment. It is about the factor of fear and doubt and being unsure and not knowing. If if it if at all I had to go out on a limb, I would call it an introverted venture. That's what we've been trying to do, and between Sujata and me also we've tried to do that. So now the question is, with different people I've realized sometimes it's at least one or two people I know that you go on sharing secrets, you go on doing a lot of things, a lot of hand holding, far more than required. Yet they do not take home the message of, okay, yes, I can also open up and I can also uh, face the world. Everybody has some or the other flaws. Everybody stumbles. It's a journey. There's no ready-made way to reach where Sujata has reached, for example, that she is complete in herself, even for a brief period. That's fine. Um, with the law of impermanence always hanging over us. So I would say brief period. But yeah, even to reach this brief period is not an easy task. You go through your journey. So what could it be that we'll come to only Chitra to start with, because you are the certified introvert here. Um, what is it that you would want to hear that would give you the comfort of saying, okay, I can trust. I can trust opening up, and obviously you'll have secrets. There is nobody who can stand on the. You got to become a saint of a very high quality, a Jesus or somebody who can live his life out there. None of us have reached, or a Gandhi, for example. We are still struggling with very basic issues. Um, how does one open up more or flower? Because introvertedness is a limitation in running your life, in running your business sometimes, in um, in maybe garnering new business, for example. If you're too caught up in your own version of things, you might not be able to go out and do this. So my question is, if being introverted is a hindrance to forming new relationships, whether professionally or personally, um, would you agree? Would you think?
Not really, because I think professionally, introverted, I'm only about the, I would say only about, I can, like I said, I am very friendly. Someone who I meet even for the first time, I can go about talking for like 2 hours, and after 2 hours, probably, if you're not meeting again, I might not go out of the way to keep in touch with those people because, but those 2 hours, and I'm not faking those 2 hours. I am myself. I can talk, but I don't see it as a hindrance because. Yeah, it's just that I chose certain people uh, to talk certain parts about myself, and some other parts are like open for everyone. So it's like I would say, um,
So
it doesn't really come even in my way of professional life, I feel, because yeah. So I would say I won't go about boasting or something like that. So which I feel comes under a little bit of sales and marketing skills, and of course, to these days, I do feel those are important to grow in whatever field you are. You need to make big, make a big picture of whatever you're doing so that people notice you. So I'm trying to learn those skills, but I don't feel because of me being selective, choosing certain people to share certain stuff and not choosing the others to talk about myself. I don't think that has ever come in mind. Though some people do feel that you don't talk about yourself, or there is something deeper that you don't tell. I've got these what do you call it, these feedback stuff from certain groups that there is something about you which we don't know, or that's underlying, and I'm like, okay, what is it? I mean, everyone has that, and not everyone shares everything with everyone, right? So so it's just that. Otherwise, I'm very, very much open to talk about everything. I feel, at least I feel so.
You have a point of view, because I have a question for her on this. Two questions actually. Sujata.
Yeah. My thing is, do we ever really tell somebody all that's going on in our minds? It doesn't really have to be a secret. It can be, it doesn't have to be really a secret all the time. It could be anything. It could be a
Exactly.
fear. It could be an issue in a relationship with your spouse or your close friend, your in laws, outlaws. It could be anything. Do we really tell them things the way it is, or do we tell them the way we want it to be? So that's my thought I have, because in the past I've had situations where I've told somebody a situation, and maybe I have even tried and painted the other person in a different way, probably, to get some more empathy or whatever you want to call that, to from the other person. So my thought is, I mean, sometimes we may be sharing things the way they are, but do we really do that all the time?
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. That's obviously a very honest admission and true for all of us. We all
Yeah.
have our masks, like Khalil Gibran has called them, even before, much before the COVID situation came upon us. Um, there are two questions I have for Chitra. Um, the first one that I remember, now that you're changing and learning these new skills, there is obviously the outward manifestation also has internal repercussions. How do you feel about yourself? This little more outgoing, little more um, repeated version, since for want of a better term. How do you feel about yourself? Does it give you a sense of fulfillment of some sort? Um, Anything at all?
So, not so much, I would say. So, I won't say because I have become certain things, yes, it makes me feel good. But sometimes it's like putting up a mask because I'm not this. It's just that I'm making, say, for example, something simple like Instagram. All right, I am not a very social media savvy person, but I know that is what works now. So I have to, kind of, you have to make your page or your profile look fancy and good, and you have to, be active. But it's a very stressful task for me to, really keep up to that. So it's just I don't do it out of, excitement. So certain posts are, of course, out of excitement. I'm not saying that I'm totally not interested
But
in it, but it is not something. So certain things that I really want to, boast about, and that makes me feel good if I'm going out of my way. But otherwise, it's only, I feel it's only taking up some time, and yeah, yeah, it's only time consuming.
and, I have a point as an advertising person. Do you want to say something, Sujata?
What it's just my thought. So are we saying that whatever is very effortful to us, we generally don't want to do it? Uh, the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm not on any social media. I tried being on Instagram, tried putting pictures of the dog, the cat, and myself, and it reached a point where I was really, do I really want to do it, right? And I've been off it for almost 5 6 weeks now, and I don't miss it even one bit. So maybe as you say this, I was thinking, was I doing it because everybody was doing it, or did I really enjoy it? So what it tells me is something that we find it to be effortful doesn't come naturally, or if we don't enjoy it, it doesn't come naturally. That's all, Bunty.
Okay. So one quick thing about what Chitra said, then I'll come to the point that you made. Um, Advertising's basic format, as I understand it in so many years, is because you want to tell a certain thing to 1,000 people, you have to make an ad. Otherwise, it's communication which is one-on-one only. That will clarify a lot of baggage that we otherwise carry. You're still talking to the same one person only. You have to try and speak in a language that 1,000 people will think that it is for them. If you can manage to do this successfully, then um, you're doing a good job. Effort or not, I do not actually break it down like that in my head for myself, because I think what needs to be done has to be done, and who cares about how we think about it. So as long as we look effortless, I think the job is done. Social media is about that. To come to the point that Sujata made, uh, I have a far larger point, which I think at some point we should just pick it up as a topic for our podcast. It is, if you have a purpose, if you have a purpose, why are you using it? What are you trying to achieve through it? That becomes the driving force of your communication. Uh, so, for example, even within the values workshop, sometimes, because I realize a lot of people are into pets these days, I have no feelings about it, neither for nor against. It's like to each his own. I like animals as much as I like human beings, and they're good. Uh, Given a choice, would I keep a pet? I don't know. I've never thought about it. Once upon a time, I thought of a fish tank, but over a period of time, I have realized the best place for each of them is their natural habitat. They are not. They shouldn't be in our spaces and living to our expectations is my overall feeling about it. But it's not judgmental about others who have pets. I've also seen them love their pets a lot more than they love their kids, I would say, and the pets also reciprocate equally well. So it's not really a bad deal. Love is what is. Um, so yeah, if even if you're sharing pictures of your pets because you love your pets and you want to connect to other people who have pets and similar stories, then I think it's all right. And once a while is all right. Last couple of days I was a little unwell and I didn't miss Instagram at all. And I've been praised off late that I am very regular with posting things and putting up stuff that is making people excited about whatever I'm sharing. It actually started from there itself. People called me up and said that I need to do this on a regular basis with a lot more people. And that's how it kind of came out. So are we, this is a very interesting thought. This just struck me back to the topic on hand. Are we at different levels of introvertedness for each of us? Because something within us is fairly sacred to us. It may be foolish, maybe it may be very wise. I had once heard a discourse about some priest was talking. One of these ISKCON guys. He says, if you truly value something, you'll keep it hidden from the world. So he was talking about love for God, obviously, in his context. It is a line that has stayed with me. Um, are we uh, are we too quick to judge people who are introverted that uh, they may not have anything to say. They may have something to say, but they just prefer not saying it. They just prefer staying quiet. Um, since we've spoken for quite a lot of time, so if there was one line that comes to me, which kind of sums up this, if we were to look at my objective of bringing you up here, Chitra, was to give introverted people a voice, a thought process. Values are for each one of us. There are uh, lot of pluses and minuses we carry. Being an introvert at some point in today's context, in the last couple of weeks, a lot of things have happened where celebrities have given up their lives and other things are happening. So people do take it to insane levels at times. While none of us here is qualified to speak about anything like that, and wishes everyone well, whoever has these kind of things. But yeah, we need to draw a line. If it is starting to trouble us, I think um, we need to find friends. We need to find someone um, to unburden ourselves at a different point of time. It could be somebody like a Sujata who seems to be in control and something really hits her hard, comes from nowhere, and suddenly she finds that this structure of emotional intelligence that she's built is not holding up. So at that point of time, I think we should be open enough, all of us as individuals. Similarly true for me. I may seem wise on the surface. When it hits me, I think my daughter is the best counselor to have. She comes and tells me on my face, "Okay, you've been behaving less than normal. What's the problem?" And then I look back, I realize that I have too many jobs to finish in a day, or I've been unable to manage whatever I picked up. So yeah, what would each of you say if you had to sum up what this discussion is about? Sujata, you want to go first?
Uh, I'm not sure if I want to sum up something, but my only thought here is uh, I think men and women are different as introverts. I think the way a woman would be someone who's an introvert and what she chooses to share or not to share will be very different to men, I would say, because and I guess with men again, you don't really have to be an introvert to be like that, if you get what I mean.
No, you would like to explain a bit on
I
that.
mean, men generally, the way women go about sharing things or talking stuff, men generally don't do that. So
Okay.
my thinking is in that, again, if you have a species of men who are introverted, it takes it to a different level altogether. So maybe some food for thought.
I
Yeah.
think I always think the last word with you opens up another 1 hour of discussion. Uh,
Okay, I'll try to keep
I
it
think
short.
the metrosexual, so-called metrosexual men are being uh, are being quite emotional, are quite okay to share their
Really?
emotions at times. Yeah, it's not the popular version. It is not the filmy version that we see on screen. But I think a lot of I look up to a lot of men who are more men because they understand emotions. I myself do not. I aspire to be like them very often. I am trying, but I don't think I succeed very often, um, because suddenly there is this male streak that comes which says, "You be in control. Come on, what are you crying about?" For oneself and even for the women itself. Okay, enough of your emotions. Don't just wait.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but between us, we do Vipassana meditation, so we kind of learn to be a little more observant most of the time of how it is. Chitra, what the last word today? We will let you have it. So, for you, what is this discussion about? What are you taking home from this wonderful talk we've had?
So I feel more than introvert, I think ambivert is the safest place to be for anyone. You know, because, and to some extent, I feel everyone is that, because everyone has things like Sujata said, there are thoughts, it might not be secrets, but there are like constant thoughts, and you don't talk about all your thoughts or your fears or anything to everyone. So in that way, everyone has that shell which, you know, they keep to themselves. Even so to say, extroverts don't talk about their innermost
True.
thoughts and processes to anyone. So yeah, so then I think finding the gray space, or you know, a mid path wherein uh, which works well for me, wherein I am friendly with people, but when it comes to sharing personal stuff or my thoughts, etc., I am to myself, or to those close two, three, which are like not even two, three. I would say just maximum three, just two maybe.
Yeah.
So, so keeping to them. So then I feel, and I feel everyone. It's like a scale from 1 to 10, and everyone kind of ranges between somewhere in the middle only. Very few are at extremes. And secondly, I feel the need to communicate is for everyone, and should be to some extent, because that is how, one, you get clarity, and secondly, uh, some, because we are humans, there has to be some unburdening, right? Unless you we don't even realize we are piling up stuff until we go to that extreme stage of doing something extreme. So then it's better to find at least one or two people where you can jabber and unburden yourself.
Wonderful. So, are we
That's
Yeah.
saying if 0 is absolutely introverted and 10 is absolutely extroverted, you are saying we should all be a mix of both? Um,
correct.
Retain our sanity at the same time, retain our secrets.
Correct.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I think it was a wonderful thing. And
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
and
Very well said, Chitra. That was a nice thing to kind of mix
yeah, yeah,
both both sides of a person's personality.
yeah.
Really nice.
Yes,
Thank you so much. I enjoyed.
yes. Chalo. Take your hands. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Chitra. Bye,
Thank,
Bunty.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.